Financially, 6 months have passed already. What have you done, folks? Ladies and gents, just here to drop a few cents. You're here with Earl, the money coach. Sat down with a client, and I was thinking, I'm not here to get political, how you feel how America's politics are going. But we've had time. There's been 6 months of the year. What have you done besides complain or be upset? Or what have you done to be proactive if you love what's going on, if you hate what's going on, whatever party you're on, what have you done? Sat down with a client, and I realized it doesn't even take that much. This year, 37-year-old, he's making about 48,000 a year. He's married, has a kid on the way. But in the last 6 months, he's been able to secure himself a passport, couple $100. He was able to do citizenship via descendant. He has family members that are in Europe, so he got a citizenship via descendant on his mom's side in one country, on his dad's side for a Caribbean country. So he got his passports, he got his citizenships via descendants. He also got temporary residency. He has temporary residency in Mexico, very easy. You don't even have to go there, less than $100. Also got temporary residency in Portugal. So he has 2 temporary residencies, 2 other cities for citizenship via descendant. He got his passport taken care of, and he's also been moving funds. He has money not just here in America. He has money in Mexico. He has money in Canada. He's opening up different accounts. He has BVI accounts, so he's being proactive. And this is huge. When you look at what's going on in the demographics of America right now, you really want to think on what strategies have you done? Me, myself, I've done some of the same things over the last few years. I got my citizenship via descendant for Trinidad and Barbados, where my family's from. I also got Mexico. I also have banking in Singapore. I have the Kingdom Bank, which is out there in the Caribbean. I also was able to get citizenship via investment in St. Kitts. Now, why that is huge, because if you have a citizenship via investment or just citizenship, it allows you to have what they call the OECS, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. So having citizenship in one country allows me to be able to have citizenship in 10. Super powerful, look it up. So with different things you could do, I also purchased what you call a jet card. If you want to fly private, I'm not going to lie, business write-offs and all that, it costs a lot of money, but I do have a jet card. If in case of emergency I do need to leave the States, I'm not going to be going to airports. I could fly private. So there's different things you could do, liquidating money, putting money in different places, different kind of accounts. That's huge. I have banking in Singapore. Like I said, one of the banks in Singapore allows me to be able to go directly into the SSE, Shanghai Stock Exchange, if I want to. So diversifying my money, not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong, but it could be a powerful thing to do. My client I sat down with, guess what? His wife lost her job. Right, and instead of complaining, being upset, she looked into a hobby. She found out what she wanted to do. Minimum money, started an LLC, was able to apply for business grants. I think I told you guys on one of my last videos about grants. She went on there, she's applied for grants. Now she has business grants, taking care to start her business, doing everything from scratch. So all this has happened, since this administration's been in office. So love Trump, hate Trump. I'm not getting into that. But what have you done? It's been 6 months to really make sure you can keep yourself financially on track. If you need to leave, if you're staying, what have you done? That's the main question. I want people to be proactive, not reactive. If you don't like what's going on, if something happens and you're reactive, you may not financially be able to take care of that. So if you have any strategies, anything you've done, throw it in the comments. Help other folks out. But we're talking about sitting down with a client with minimal money. Not even making $50K a year, being able to take care of all those things. Citizenships, temporary residencies, passports, moving stuff from different locations, minimum money. We're talking, to get a lot of that stuff, we barely spent $1,400. So that's $200-300 a month. Save, do it accordingly. So folks, instead of complaining or instead of arguing or debating, or if you love Trump and hoorah, whatever, if you hate Trump, hoorah, whatever, instead of debating, arguing, complaining, doing whatever you're doing, give yourself a plan of action. It doesn't cost much. And if you strategically figure stuff out, guys, you got ChatGPT, man. You can figure out everything. I'm talking about you could literally, one of the things I did, and I double check it, I've done it from myself. How do you want to move everything over? So starting from a Cook Island. So Cook Island Trust, opening up a holding company, got the LLC out of Wyoming. From there, opened up a BVI, so I only have to report a certain amount of money. There, opened up my STOP accounts. STOP stands for savings, taxes, operations, and profits. It gave me a listing on how to do this, ChatGPT. You could ask and figure out, do your own research, folks, but Come up with a plan. If you have came up with a plan, what have you done? Throw it in the comments.